The morning sun bathed the bustling cafe in golden light as customers filtered in and out, eager for their caffeine fix. The scent of freshly brewed coffee hung in the air, mingling with the soft hum of conversation. Behind the counter stood Jordan, a dedicated and hard-working barista with a warm smile that often melted the stress of even the grumpiest customers. It was just another day, or so Jordan thought. Dressed in the cafe's standard uniform, Jordan greeted every customer with enthusiasm. Their cheerful demeanor had earned them the respect of regular patrons and the admiration of their coworkers. However, the tranquility of the morning was shattered when a tall man in a crisp white shirt and polished shoes stepped forward. His face was stern, his expression unreadable. "Next, please," Jordan called out with a polite smile. The man approached the counter but didn't respond immediately. He glanced around the cafe, as if searching for someone else to take his order. Jordan's brow furrowed slightly, but they maintained their composure. "Good morning, sir. What can I get for you today?" The man's lips thinned into a tight line. "I'd like someone else to serve me," he said curtly. Jordan blinked, taken aback. "I'm sorry, sir. Is there a problem?" The man leaned in slightly, his voice low but firm. "I don't want you making my coffee." A tense silence fell over the cafe. Nearby customers exchanged puzzled glances, sensing the tension. Jordan's colleagues behind the counter paused, unsure of how to intervene. Jordan's voice remained steady, though their heart raced. "Sir, I'm the barista available right now. I assure you I can make your drink to your liking." The man shook his head, his tone dripping with disdain. "I just prefer someone different. You know what I mean." The weight of the man's words hung heavy in the air. Jordan knew exactly what he meant, but they chose not to let anger take hold. Years of navigating subtle and not-so-subtle forms of prejudice had taught Jordan how to maintain their composure, even when their dignity was being challenged. A woman in the line behind the man cleared her throat loudly. "Excuse me," she said, her voice sharp, "but did you just refuse service from this person because of their race?" The man's face reddened, but he stood his ground. "I have my preferences," he muttered. The cafe manager, a middle-aged woman named Linda, stepped forward, her expression firm. "Is there a problem here?" she asked. The man pointed at Jordan. "I just want someone else to make my coffee. That's all." Linda's gaze hardened. "We don't tolerate discrimination in this establishment. Jordan is one of our best baristas, and if you can't accept that, you're welcome to take your business elsewhere." The man hesitated, clearly unused to being challenged. Jordan felt a surge of gratitude for Linda's support but remained silent, determined not to escalate the situation. The woman behind the man spoke up again. "Honestly, I think you'd be doing us all a favor if you left. No one wants to share a space with that kind of attitude." A murmur of agreement rippled through the cafe. The man looked around, realizing he was outnumbered. With a huff, he turned on his heel and stormed out, leaving behind an awkward silence. Linda placed a reassuring hand on Jordan's shoulder. "You okay?" Jordan nodded, though their hearts still raced. "Yeah. Thanks for standing up for me." Linda smiled. "Always." As the tension dissipated, the cafe returned to its usual rhythm. Customers placed their orders, and the hum of conversation resumed. But for Jordan, the incident lingered in their mind. They had faced prejudice before, but it never got easier. Still, the support from Linda and the other customers had made a difference. Little did Jordan know, karma had its own way of dealing with situations like this, and it was about to strike in a way no one could have anticipated. The cafe buzzed with energy, but Jordan's mind remained clouded by the morning's confrontation. They kept their smile intact for the customers, but inside, a familiar ache gnawed at their resolve. Jordan had worked hard to rise above the prejudice they occasionally encountered, but moments like this left an indelible mark. It wasn't just the rude man's words. It was the weight of countless moments where they had to prove their worth despite societal biases. Later that afternoon, Jordan sat on a break in the small staff room at the back of the cafe. Linda joined them, offering a warm smile and a steaming cup of tea. "You handled yourself really well out there," Linda said. "I'm proud of you." Jordan sighed. "It's just exhausting, you know? I come here to do my job, not to deal with people like that." Linda nodded. "Unfortunately, There are still people stuck in their old ways. But remember, you've got support here. Always. Jordan's phone buzzed on the table. A notification from social media lit up the screen. Curious, Jordan picked up the phone and opened the app. To their surprise, a video of the morning's incident was circulating online. One of the customers had filmed the entire exchange and shared it with the caption, "Racist customer gets kicked out after refusing service from Black barista. Manager handles it perfectly." Jordan's heart raced as they scrolled through the comments. Support poured in from people expressing outrage at the man's behavior and admiration for Linda's firm response. "This is what allyship looks like." One comment read, "Jordan handled that with such grace." "Respect," said another. But not all comments were positive. Some users defended the man's actions, claiming he had the right to choose who served him. The vitriol in those comments stung more than Jordan cared to admit. Linda noticed their expression. "Everything okay?" Jordan hesitated. "Someone filmed it. It's online now." Linda frowned. "Well, that's unexpected. You okay with that?" "I don't know," Jordan admitted. "Part of me is glad people are standing up for me. But some of the comments..." Linda shook her head. "Don't waste your energy on the trolls. They thrive on negativity. Focus on the good. There's a lot of it in there too." The conversation was interrupted by the sudden appearance of a familiar figure at the cafe door, the man from that morning. His face was drawn, and his posture was less rigid than before. Jordan's chest tightened as they watched him approach the counter. Linda's expression hardened, but Jordan spoke first. "It's okay," they said quietly. "I'll handle this." Linda hesitated but stepped back, trusting Jordan's judgment. The man cleared his throat awkwardly. Hi," he began. "Look, I just wanted to say, I was out of line this morning." Jordan folded their arms. "Why this sudden change of heart?" The man shifted uncomfortably. "My daughter saw the video. She's furious with me. Said I embarrassed the family and taught her the wrong lesson." He sighed heavily. "She's right. I've got a lot to unlearn." Jordan studied him, searching for sincerity. There was a flicker of vulnerability in his eyes that hadn't been there earlier. "I appreciate the apology," Jordan said carefully, "but it's not just about me. It's about the way people like me get treated every day. Words and actions have consequences." The man nodded solemnly. "I know. I need to do better." Linda approached, her tone firm but not unkind. "It's never too late to change, but actions speak louder than words. I hope you remember that." The man nodded again. "Thank you. And, sorry, Jordan." Jordan offered a small nod. "Take care." As the man left the cafe, a sense of relief washed over Jordan. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was a step in the right direction. The rest of the day passed without incident, but the experience lingered. Jordan knew that prejudice wouldn't disappear overnight, but they also knew that change was possible, one conversation, one moment at a time. What they didn't know was that this incident had sparked something far bigger than a viral video or a single apology. The cafe had become a symbol of standing up against discrimination, and people were taking notice. Karma, as it turned out, had its way of balancing the scales, but its journey was only just beginning. The viral video spread like wildfire, drawing national attention within days. News outlets picked up the story, framing it as a powerful example of standing up to discrimination. The cafe, once just a cozy spot in town, was now a symbol of integrity and inclusivity. Jordan found themselves at the center of a conversation they hadn't expected to be a part of. Journalists reached out for interviews, community leaders wanted to collaborate on events. Promoting diversity, and social media buzzed with hashtags supporting both Jordan and the cafe's stance against prejudice. Despite the overwhelming attention, Jordan remained grounded. They continued to show up for their shifts, greeting customers with the same warm smile. But beneath the surface, they couldn't shake the weight of being thrust into the spotlight. One afternoon, Linda approached Jordan with a thoughtful expression. "Got a minute?" "Sure," Jordan said, wiping down the counter. They sat at a quiet corner table. Linda took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about everything that's happened. This whole situation has put a spotlight on the cafe, and on you. How are you holding up?" Jordan hesitated. "It's been a lot. I didn't expect any of this. I just wanted to do my job." Linda nodded. I get that. But sometimes life has other plans. You handled yourself with grace, and people are noticing. I think we have an opportunity here to turn this into something meaningful. What do you mean? Well, Linda said thoughtfully, there's a local community group that's reached out. They want to partner with us to host a discussion on inclusivity and respect. I think it could be a great way to keep the conversation going. Jordan considered the idea. I like that. If sharing my experience can help even one person rethink their biases, it's worth it. As they discussed the logistics, a familiar face entered the cafe, the same man who had refused Jordan's service. This time, he wasn't alone. Beside him stood a young girl, likely his daughter. Jordan's stomach tensed, but they maintained their composure. The man approached the counter, looking nervous. "Hi, Jordan," he said quietly. "I hope it's okay that I'm back. I wanted to introduce my daughter, Emily." Jordan glanced at the girl, who offered a shy smile. "Nice to meet you, Emily." "Nice to meet you too," she said. "I'm really sorry about what my dad did. We talked a lot about it." The man nodded. She made sure we had that conversation. He looked directly at Jordan. "I'm trying to be better, for her and for myself. I know it'll take time, but I'm working on it." Jordan softened. "That means a lot. Change isn't easy, but the fact that you're trying makes a difference." As they chatted briefly, other customers watched the interaction with quiet curiosity. The atmosphere was different, less tense, more hopeful. Later that evening, Jordan reflected on the unexpected developments. The cafe had become a place of transformation, not just for the customers, but for Jordan as well. The community event Linda had mentioned was soon confirmed, with local activists, educators, and community members eager to participate. Jordan agreed to share their story, hoping it would encourage meaningful conversations about respect and equality. The day of the event arrived, and the cafe buzzed with energy. Chairs were arranged in neat rows, and a small stage had been set up near the front. People from all walks of life filled the space, eager to be part of the dialogue. Linda opened the event with a heartfelt speech about the importance of inclusivity and the role businesses play in fostering respect. Then it was Jordan's turn. Standing before the crowd, Jordan took a deep breath. "I never imagined I'd be standing here, sharing my story." They began. "All I wanted was to do my job without being judged for who I am." But life had other plans. They recounted the incident, the emotions they had felt, and the unexpected journey that followed. The crowd listened intently, some nodding in agreement, others visibly moved. "But this isn't just about me," Jordan continued. "It's about all the people who face discrimination every day, at work, in their communities, even in places they're supposed to feel safe. It's about standing up for what's right and creating spaces where everyone is treated with dignity." As they spoke, Jordan noticed the man from the cafe seated in the crowd, Emily by his side. His expression was thoughtful, and for the first time, Jordan saw genuine remorse and growth. The event concluded with a Q&A session, where attendees shared their own experiences and ideas for fostering inclusivity. The atmosphere was electric with hope and determination. By the end of the night, Jordan felt a sense of fulfillment they hadn't anticipated. The weight of the incident had been lifted, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose. Karma had indeed struck, but not in the way people often expected. It had sparked a journey of reflection, growth, and transformation that touched countless lives. The weeks following the community event marked a significant transformation, not only for Jordan but for the cafe and the surrounding community. The cafe had evolved from a simple coffee shop to a symbol of inclusivity and resilience. Customers, both old and new, visited not just for coffee but to be part of the positive energy the cafe radiated. Jordan's story had inspired many, sparking conversations about respect, diversity, and the courage to confront prejudice. One sunny morning, Linda approached Jordan with a beaming smile. "You won't believe this," she said, waving a letter in her hand. Jordan raised an eyebrow. "Good news?" "Very good news. The City Council wants to recognize the cafe for its contributions to promoting inclusivity and community engagement. They're giving us an award at their annual civic event." Jordan blinked in surprise. "Seriously? That's amazing." Linda chuckled. "It's all thanks to you, Jordan. Your grace and strength turned a negative situation into something truly impactful. Jordan shook their head modestly. It wasn't just me. You stood up for me, and the community showed up too. This was a team effort. As preparations for the awards ceremony got underway, Jordan reflected on how much had changed since that fateful day. The cafe had become a hub for meaningful discussions, hosting workshops on diversity and respect. Linda had even hired a local activist to lead monthly talks on social issues, drawing crowds eager to learn and grow. But perhaps the most surprising transformation was the man who had sparked the entire incident. Jordan was wiping down tables one afternoon when they noticed him sitting quietly at a corner table, sipping a coffee. Emily was beside him, engrossed in a book. Jordan hesitated before approaching. "Hey," Jordan greeted. "How's it going?" The man looked up, offering a tentative smile. "Better, thanks to you." Jordan tilted their head. "Me? Yeah," he said earnestly. "After that day, I did a lot of thinking. I realized I needed to confront my biases and do better. I've been attending workshops and reading up on things I never paid attention to before. Emily's been helping too. She's way smarter than me about this stuff." Emily grinned. "He's doing pretty well, actually." Jordan smiled warmly. "That's good to hear. Change isn't easy, but it's worth it." The man nodded. "It really is. And I'm grateful for the chance to make things right." Their conversation was interrupted by Linda's voice calling out, "Jordan, quick, I need you at the counter." Excusing themselves, Jordan hurried back to the counter, where Linda stood with a mischievous glint in her eye. "What's up?" Jordan asked. Linda gestured toward a delivery driver holding a large package. "This just arrived for you." "For me?" Jordan was puzzled. The driver set the package down with a smile. "Yep, all yours." Curious, Jordan tore open the packaging to reveal a beautifully crafted plaque. The inscription read, "In recognition of courage, resilience, and leadership in fostering inclusivity and community harmony." Beneath the inscription was Jordan's name, followed by the cafe's name. Linda beamed. "Looks like your impact goes beyond just our cafe." Emotion welled up in Jordan's chest. "Wow, I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Linda said gently. "Just keep being you." The cafe erupted into applause as customers noticed the plaque. Jordan's heart swelled with gratitude. Later that evening, as Jordan walked home, they reflected on the journey that had led to this moment. What had started as a painful encounter had blossomed into a movement of transformation and growth. The award ceremony was a celebration of everything the cafe had become. A place where people of all backgrounds could come together, share stories, and learn from one another. Jordan stood on the stage, accepting the award on behalf of the cafe and the community that had made it possible. Their speech was heartfelt and sincere. "This award isn't just for me," Jordan said. "It's for everyone who stood up against prejudice, who chose empathy over hate, and who believed in the power of change. Together, we've created something beautiful, a place where everyone belongs." The audience erupted into applause, and Jordan felt a sense of fulfillment unlike anything they had ever experienced. The cafe's journey was a testament to the power of courage, community, and the belief that even in the face of adversity, positive change was possible. Months passed, but the impact of that fateful day continued to ripple through the community and beyond. The cafe's journey had become a case study for businesses looking to promote inclusivity, and Jordan's story was shared at conferences, in articles, and across social media as a beacon of resilience and transformation. One sunny afternoon, Jordan sat by the window of the cafe, watching the steady stream of customers. The walls were now adorned with artwork from local creators, many of whom were inspired by themes of diversity and community. A bulletin board near the entrance displayed upcoming events, including a new workshop series titled Conversations That Matter. Linda approached with 2 cups of coffee, setting one in front of Jordan. "Still feels surreal, doesn't it?" she said, taking a seat. Jordan nodded. "Yeah. Who would have thought all this would come from one bad encounter?" Linda smiled. "It just goes to show, good things can come from the most unexpected places." Jordan took a sip of their coffee. "It's not just about what happened here, though. I've learned so much about myself and what I'm capable of. I used to think staying quiet was the easiest way to get through life. But now I see that speaking up, not just for myself but for others, makes all the difference. Linda's expression softened. You've inspired so many people, Jordan, including me. Just then, a familiar figure walked through the door. Emily, now a regular at the cafe, with her father in tow. The man waved hesitantly, and Jordan waved back, feeling a sense of peace. His transformation was a reminder that change, while difficult, was possible. As they approached the counter, the man extended his hand. I just wanted to say thank you again, he said earnestly. You've taught me more than I can put into words. Jordan shook his hand. I appreciate that, and thank you for being willing to learn and grow. Emily chimed in, grinning. I told him he had to keep working on himself. Jordan laughed. Sounds like you're a good teacher. As they left with their coffees, Linda leaned over. You know, seeing that kind of change makes everything worth it. Jordan nodded. It really does. In the months that followed, Jordan continued to be a voice for inclusivity, both at the cafe and in the community. They were invited to speak at schools, community centers, and even corporate events, sharing their journey and the lessons they had learned. But Jordan never lost sight of what mattered most: the simple joy of connecting with people over a cup of coffee. The cafe remained a haven for meaningful conversations and connections, a place where everyone was welcome. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the cafe, Jordan stood outside, taking in the scene. Laughter and chatter filled the air, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the open door. Linda joined them, her expression content. We've come a long way, haven't we? Jordan smiled. Yeah, we have. And there's still more to do. Linda nodded. Always. As they stood there, watching the world go by, Jordan felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey had been challenging, but it had led to growth, understanding, and lasting change. The cafe had become more than just a place to grab coffee. It was a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of community. And Jordan knew that as long as they kept showing up, ready to listen, learn, and connect, the journey would continue. Because change, after all, was never a destination. It was a journey worth taking, one step at a time.